In this episode, we start to build our factory for an output of 315 AI limiters per minute. Yo, hello everyone. Welcome back to Pronto Play and Project Nuclear Mayhem in Satisfactory. In the last episode, we built a big steel factory in order to produce steel beams and steel pipes. And while we are still producing 300 steel beams per minute, I actually underestimated our steel pipe output. We shot over the 1500 and are putting out a total of 1540 steel pipes here. And as you can see, nothing much really happened here in between episodes because I'm quite happy about how this place turned out. And seems like you guys liked it as well, according to your feedback. Thank you very much for that, I really appreciate it. The only thing that I did is remove the catwalk plates that we put on top of the frames so that we could place the machines on. This way it looks even more rough and you can look through the different levels above or beneath, which has been a cool feature from the start and got even better now. And also, I got the hint from you to implement awesome things for stress testing the factories. Up to this point I only have awesome things on the rubber factory, so the fuel production isn't backlogging, and I rather save the power for starting process than gaining points from sinking concrete or similar. But for stress testing this is indeed a good point, and the more complex our factory gets, the more profitable awesome things will be for the time being. Now, since we took care of this, we have quite some progress in our books if we take a look on the overall production plan. But of course, there's still very much to do, and today we are going to build our next big factory, an AI limiter factory. The plan is to produce another 6300 Quickwire and bring it together with 1575 copper sheets to target an output of 315 AI limiters per minute. While 308 would be enough, I again just want to have a bit of excess. And these AI limiters are necessary in order to produce our crystal oscillators, as well as our electromagnetic control rods later. And while the basic plan for this build is mapped out, I have not settled on the details. For example, once again I'm undecisive on how this factory or the factories will look like in the end. But let's get into it, some parts already prepared for the first steps, and with the flow of building and your input combined, I am sure we can work out something breathtaking. For the sake of a better overview, I placed a couple of radar towers for the moment, and first we will go to these pure Caterium nodes. Since one does not provide enough Caterium ore, we have to tap both, and convert the ore into ingots right on the respective spots. This makes the transport much easier, because converting the 1050 Caterium ore into 525 ingots cuts the volume of the parts being transported in half. Conveniently, we can simply use the blueprints of our first Quickwire production. So, let's head out to the first Caterium ore, and then we start with the first step. And here we are at the first Caterium node, right next to the rubber factory and our power towers, where the whole project started. The idea for this build today is a modular approach, since we have to combine resources that lie kind of far away. For example, the Caterium ore is here, and the copper is here and way up here. And a gimmick that came up my mind in order to connect all this is to have every build with a train station at sea level, so that we can build a railway system that is inspired by the train from the movie Spirited Away. So a railway will be built just below the water surface, so that it looks like the train is driving on the water. I hope this works, and if it does, it will be awesome. But first, let's build the first of two Caterium ingot refinements. I will try to have this as small as possible, since it's just a very small portion of today's build. Let's begin! Alright, unfortunately I ran out of iron plates during the building process, so I stopped recording and finished everything on my own really quick, since we have to move on. Quite some big agenda today. So this is the plan now. The Caterium ore will be transported via this conveyor belt, a little bit of protected and encased by a metal roof, and now our first refinement building looks something like this. A lot of glass again, for example the glass dome, but not fully encased with glass roof, so that we have a little bit of space for the logistics running on the ceiling in the inside. We'll show you that in a minute. And the chimneys are reaching outside of the building again. I prefer this for smaller buildings. If it's big enough, I don't have any issues with the chimney being on the inside. But since we want to keep this small for the first step and being only the refinement for Caterium, I decided to do it like this. And here I placed another 4-meter foundation so that we can run all around. I think I will change this to coated concrete as well, so that we can separate the building concrete from the walkway on the floor, and it looks a little bit more, high value like this. Then on the center we have glass frame foundations, and we can see that all the outputs for the Caterium is getting merged again, similar to our first Quickwire factory, and eventually reaching this point, where we have to build a train station that picks up the Caterium ingots. So this side here is quite still unfinished, but now it gets interesting, so I wanted to catch you up really quick, and now we can work on this together. As you can see, I already moved some foundations below the water level, just as laid out in the planning. And this train station actually can sit here, and I did a lot of trial and error, but now if we put a freight platform right behind it, the output with the merged Caterium ingots actually can go in a straight line right into the train station. So that we have one freight car on the train that picks up the Caterium ingots from this point. And we will replicate this building at the second Caterium ore as well. So yeah, it's basically an exact copy or similar. And then we will combine these with a train network that is only connected for this AI production process and does not interfere with the other ones. We also have to worry about the railway a little bit later. For example, this now here is a little bit too deep for being so close to the coast, but I think at the same time it should be a little bit more down below, under the surface. But I think we can solve this once we are getting a little bit far away from the coastline and from the beaches. So this will just be around this building an issue, but later will be solved on its own. Alright. One last final glimpse on this one. Still a little bit rectangular, a lot of concrete, but then again we can go ham on the big building with the refinement for the Quickwire and the copper sheets and so on later. Alright, let's head to the next Caterium ore, and then I build this really quick as well. And here we are already, just a little 2-minute tour around the coasts. Now, since this will be a copy of the first build, I will do this on my own, since you don't need to watch me doing the same thing twice again. So see you in a minute once this is built up. Alright, ingot refinement number 2 is finished as well. And as you can see, train station is already in place a little bit, with railway already in position. Unfortunately, the shore here is just not steep enough to sink the railway into the water. But as soon as we come around this point of the sea, we can actually go into the deeper water. It's just not possible here. But here we might have the expected target or the result that we were hoping for. But I think I will go back to the first refinement over there and start our way out from there, and as well connect the railway then to power immediately, so that we can do some experimenting with the train, how it looks and if it works the way it should. This one is disconnected via priority switch, or no, power switch, not priority, again missing parts, but Power switch is turned off, so there's no worries about by accident starting it. So let me go back to the refinement number 1, and then we start to build some railways. And we're back. I already did some experimenting, similar to the other refinement place. At the waterfall, the sea level drops drastically after a bit, and I think I found the right level of railway so that it looks good. Let's actually do some testing. Here it's not even on foundations, it just can't get any lower. But now we are actually dropping, and this is the height that I settled on. And I think with a little bit of distance and after deleting the foundations, this might actually look cool. Let's see if we can stand here. Nope. But this will be the level where the train rides on. And I think this will be nice. Of course, the railways will never be invisible, especially from up above. You can clearly see them. But still, it will have a nice effect. And we will need the railway connections anyways, so let's work with this. And these foundations are also off-grid, but since this will be an independent railway connection in between the AI modular factories, this has not be synced with the other ones. So let's do it like this, for example. And I'm simply going straight in one line with the foundations, extending the railway again, trying to get back to the train, and then I will move forward. And I think this will take a little while. Let's actually go with the foundations first and then see where we end on. Does turbo fuel recharge in the water? No, it doesn't. Okay. Huh. Okay. Have to do some waiting spots every once in a while. Maybe like this. Oh, and we are almost at our second location. So let's see if we can connect the railways in the end. But since we will delete the foundations in the future anyways, I don't think this will be a problem. Alright, I will connect the railways here really quick and then come back to you. Okay, the loops on both sides are done. Foundations are deleted. Only the railway is left. So let's actually turn on self-driving and take a look from the distance how the train looks when it's operating. And we simply can send it between Munro Falls, I think this is the one called down here, yes, and Amsterdam. Next station, Munro Falls. Let's turn on self-driving and get a little bit of distance. Yes, yes. This is what I was hoping for. Of course, the fog is a little bit interfering. This won't be the only connection, of course, of this build. And I think if we watch maybe from up here, although from up above the railway is clearly visible. A bit of a shame, but it can't be helped. And here it's rising again. Okay, but maybe if it comes along this way, let's actually wait a little bit until the docking on the other side is completed. Of course, nothing is happening right now with loading and unloading. This is simply the testing of the operating train. And here it comes again. Yes, I like it. Nice. Alright. And this marks the Caterium ingot refinement complete. What a nice point of view from here. You can even see the process overview board that we have on the back of our rubber factory. I tried to find out how far we can build before we hit the walled border, but unfortunately I ran out of concrete. Well, at least it's safe to say that we have more than enough space to build another factory out here. Because now we have to set up again 70 refineries for the copper ingots and then 70 assemblers in front of them to mix the copper ingots with Caterium ingots and then have the Quickwire output. We will take care of the copper ore in a minute, don't worry, I'll come to that. And I think we build into this direction in parallel to the coast. And I'm yet unsure if we build the same as the first factory with 2 floors of 35 refineries in line each, or make a huge line of 70 refineries this time, because we have the space. Let me first restock on material, and then we can go back to work. Alright, while preparing and running back and forth, I made a decision. I actually want to see how 70 refineries in one line look like. And also I realized that we have to build more machines this time, because it does not end with the Quickwire, but we have to build the AI limiters in the end as well. So there might even be need for a second level anyways. So we will place now 70 refineries in one line. Since this platform now here is 100 foundations long and 12 foundations wide, we are actually almost at the spot where the copper will come from for this build. And because of this, we will place the refineries from here with the conveyor belt running direction from left to right from this point of view. You know what I mean. And I was thinking about how to divide the output and distribute further for further production, because we will get 90 Quickwire per minute per Quickwire assembler, but every AI limiter assembler needs 100 Quickwire as input. So I think the cleanest solution for this problem will be that we still divide the Quickwire production into groups of 7 refineries, as we did in the first factory. And then we place 7 assemblers for the AI limiters, but one has to be underclocked. And this way it will be the cleanest. I couldn't think about another solution that, fits even better. If you have any ideas, maybe I missed something, please let me know, I would appreciate any input, and maybe we can come up with an even better option. Let's actually start to set up some refineries, shall we? And again, we start from here. Recipe is correct. Running direction of the conveyor belts is correct. All right. Now we can't build with blueprint mode because the floor is blueprinted and this messes with the connections or with the auto attachment from the different blueprints. And I actually already lost track. How many have we built? Should actually stop with this jumping around. I hope this is not annoying. Nobody has complained about it yet. But I can imagine that it might lead to some nausea, always watching this character running. I'm really careful not to mess up the deleting and so on, because otherwise I might have to start from the get-go again if I mess up somewhere in between, so this is why I'm actually careful. And I actually lost track again. I don't know how many groups we have now. Yeah, let's see if there's one missing. One moment, please. We have one group. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, this building has to be big. So this is the 9th. And then we have to build another 7. So 8 and then another one. So that we can delete again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because otherwise there would be no point of reference. Let's actually delete these. Where is my blueprint? Over here. Six. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this should be 70 refineries. Wow, can't even see the end. Barely, maybe. Alright, now I have to do some cleanup, delete all the excess logistics connections, connect the blueprints in between with the bells, the power lines and the pipelines. I hope I have enough material with me, but a little bit of spare material is here as well. And once this is finished and all settled, I come back to you. Alright, everything cleaned up. This is the exact center, and oh boy, are these many refineries. And actually, before I forget it, I want to take care of something else really quick, which is the water supply. Because, well, this is the center. Since these 70 refineries are now in one line, instead of 2, unlike the other building, we cannot provide sufficient water with one single pipeline, since this would exceed the maximum of 600. So we have to split this into 2, but this actually checks out quite well if we simply put down 3 water extractors on each side, something like this. And I will do the connections, pipelines and everything else on my own later really quick. Don't want to bore you with the details, but just so that you know. And we will have a similar concern with the copper ore that is coming over here. I have to do the color coding from the conveyor belt, I just realized. Because, yeah, up until this point we have 525 copper ore per segment, if we call these left and right segment. Which means, in other words, the maximum copper ore needed for this place cannot be transported via one single conveyor belt. So we have to split this as well. Maybe do a separate line on the side and then connect it into here, or maybe even up above this pipeline. But again, another detail that we have to worry about in the future. Alright, the next step is placing the Quickwire assemblers in front of our refineries. And it's getting nighttime, but I'm positive that it's now bright enough in the game to build at night as well. So let's start with the blueprints. And of course I had to restock on more materials. Placing all these machines takes its toll on the material count. Let's see. It should be this one. And actually I have to change the blueprint because the Quickwire is now coming from this direction. So it runs the opposite way compared to our first Quickwire production. Luckily I have everything for the blueprint designer. So let's load it up. Build a splitter really quick. And I think it was marked 5, or was it Mark 4? I'm not sure, but anyways, we need Mark 5 in the end because of the amount of Caterium ingots that are getting transported. But now I think I don't have enough Alclad, or do I? It seems like I do. Barely. Let's start and see how far we come. Okay, how was it again? I think it was something like this. In line. If it's too close, it gets yellow. Let's hold it here. And then the first one should be quite easy to align. Should be here. I don't know why, but it looks ever so slightly off to me. But maybe it's just me. Nah, it's in line, okay. Alright, and now, if we want to make these in line with the next ones, since there's a little bit wider gap in between assemblers than there is in between refineries, we actually have to nudge these 2 times to the left, which would make it in line perfectly again. Nice. Wow. A lot faster than expected. Praise the blueprints. Okay, once again, time for cleanup, deleting excess logistics, belts, and assemblers, connecting everything. See you in a minute. Alright, Quickwire setup here is almost finished. Just have to bring in the input and merge the output of the Quickwire for every group. Also this time I haven't forgotten about the connection between the copper refineries and the assemblers. I'm learning. Also, I just had an idea about the looks of this factory while I built up and cleaned up the assemblers. And I think this idea is absolutely amazing. How about we make this thing look like a big cruise ship? Like these big liners where you can go on vacation for months straight and have everything on a ship that you could have much easier at home. In my opinion, if executed well, this would look so damn awesome. The production is under deck, maybe visible through bullseyes, and we can think about stuff to do above it, on deck, maybe even multiple floors. Please let me know what you think about this, if I'm just tunnel visioning on this idea, or if you think this could be good as well. But in my opinion, if we have a big cruise liner lying here on the shore, this would be amazing. And I think I'm gonna cut it here for today, since we have to do lots of more stuff. And also, I want to get out this question before I continue. If you have any other ideas, feel free to drop it in the comments, feel free to share it. I'm always appreciating inputs, ideas, advices. But yeah, I'm I'm really curious about specifically your opinion on the idea of the cruise ship. So, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you very much again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I really had fun thinking and building and experimenting with new stuff, especially with the train line. It's currently inactive, but yeah, you can see the railways from up here clearly, but from the shore I think this will be a nice view. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. As always, feel free to drop feedback, I'm always appreciating it. And I hope to see you in the next one.